What up, peeps? It's your girl Josh, come back to you for all takes. Today I'll be doing a review to episode 8 of Black Lightning. This one's titled The Book of Rebellion, Chapter 1, Exodus. Now, this was a good episode. As you all recall from last week's episode, episode 7, it shows at the end Khalil and Jennifer are basically on the run. Bonnie and Clyde style. They are decided to leave town. Of course, you already know why Khalil's trying to get out of town to get away from Tobias, because, you know, the Reverend will not leave and he's just tired of dealing with Tobias just altogether. Definitely doesn't want his butt whooped again. Now, of course, Jennifer feeling kind of cooped up, feeling controlled. No one listened to her, the way her parents are loving her, whichever, and parental telling them that they do care, but she's just feeling that this love is just not, it's just not what she's wanting, and she's kind of getting a little tired and frustrated. So she, of course, gets with her man, and they both leave town. Now, the beginning of this episode shows them, of course, making a pit stop because of Khalil, of course, and I understood why he did that. I mean, what do you all have? Because when they got together, I'm trying to figure out where the car came from, first and foremost, at the end of last week's episode. Secondly, what money do you got? Just like he says, he has no money, whichever. So, of course, he had to stop at Club 100 to get some money, thinking he can just come up in there, but he knew he'd have to prepare himself because just in case something went down. And sure enough, the guys were basically probably forewarned by Tobias, whatever, if he showed up with and all, they have a little bounty, they would pay him some little money, and then if they got rid of him, whatever, they'd probably get a nice little sum, whatever. So, of course, he showed his skills. Now, let me just put this out there. I watch a couple other people who react to this, whatever, who did like an actual reaction, whichever, and I always find it funny when individuals, you know, of course, will clown a little bit of Khalil for the fact that, you know, the fight he got in with Tobias, you know, he got his ass whooped, but this particular one, which was really good, a fight sequence, he did very well. Now, this is where I wanted to bring up at the end, but I'm going to kind of throw it in here a little earlier than at the end of my review. Tobias is very strong. We saw how he carried himself in that fight sequence at the end of season 1 with him and Black Lightning in the school. So we know that he has the strength. So I'm not surprised that he would get the upper hand of Khalil. Just because Khalil learned some stuff, whatever, which they clearly showed him some things, that boy probably didn't know half of the moves that he did in that particular sequence in Club 100. So I give him that. But yes, it happened like that, and Tobias would never let him continue getting the one up on him, whatever. He knows a lot more. He's been around a little longer, very much longer, and that wasn't going to go down like that anyway. So I mean, what did we all expect? So, but again, that scene was really good, and of course, he's getting out of the, you know, with the money, whatever, and all that, jumping up in the air and whatnot. Of course, by then, gunshots fires outside of the building, and that's when Jennifer kind of decides she has to come in and save, which, you know, in some ways she kind of exposed herself because they realized he wasn't by himself, but she threw a ball of her lightning up into the air to kind of, you know, kind of shield him, blind them, so he can get away, and they got in the getaway car and they rolled out. Now, from there, you see a scene where it shows them, of course, knowing that they have to ditch the car or whatever. They, of course, start the car up. He tries to do it the old-fashioned way, you rip the little cords out. It doesn't work. She almost literally causes a combustion of fire from the car, but they were able to start it. Now, she wants to call, you know, and reach out to her parents because, of course, you know, she is now run away. And, of course, you can see the moment where Khalil has a moment that he's just like, no. And he kind of almost literally put his foot down. Of course, she's looking at him like he's lost his ever-loving mind. I think he forgot who he's dealing with because she's just not some just average teenage girl anymore. Clearly, from their talk from last episode, she just kind of just gives a look like, I don't know what's going on with him, whatever and all, but I can see understanding why he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go back there. He's like straight freaked out, whatever. But he has to understand, if you want not that many people coming after us or bombarded, and my parents no less, I gotta let them know I'm safe. They're going to be freaking out, and sure enough, as you all see, moving within the episode, it shows, of course, Jefferson, Lynn, and of course Anessa coming to Gamby's, you know, place, and she's so happy he's alive, whatever and all that. Of course, Jefferson's happy to her. One person who wasn't so happy about being left out the dark was Anessa, and rightfully so. She does work very close with Gamby. He's considered like an uncle, part of the family, period, whatever. So she's not understanding why, and of course you can tell she makes a moment. From there, she decides to not make a big deal about that. So then from there, you see where they're trying to decide how to go about finding their daughter Jennifer, and then moving from there. And then from there, you just kind of see them, you know, making some strategizing, you know, moments. You see Lynn meet up with the chief, Henderson, and just explain to them, you know, what's going on, why do you think Jennifer ran away? And she's like, oh, I think it might have been because we were trying to homeschool with her and all that. Not going into real detail, because one thing's for certain, he only knows about Anessa, aka Thunder, and of course Jefferson is Black Light. He does not know I'm sorry, that Jennifer has any powers whatsoever. So from there is basically we need to find she's away with Khalil. Khalil, of course, was the one who did a lot of stuff at the school. So they're like, I need you to arrest him, whatever. He needs to be locked up. My daughter, I don't know if he's, holding her against the world, which clearly full well, and I know Lynn knows that, but of course Henderson just yet does not know that. So from there, you kind of see the scene of, you know, it shows Khalil, show up at his aunt's house, whichever, and all that. They needed somewhere to go, and he felt, she's definitely a place he can go to and feel that, she'll be understanding and let him in, even if it's just for the one night. And that's really all they need, so they can kind of strategize what they're going to do so they can get out of town. They have their money, they have whatever bags of whatever they need to kind of get them through, and then they can figure out from there. And she, of course, at first hesitant because she saw the stuff on the news, but she goes and lets them in, whichever. Of course, there's a moment between Khalil and Jennifer, and he's like, you apologize for you. She's like, what was that? He's like, I snapped, I'm sorry, ever since this situation happened to me and the things, with Tobias and the things that have happened to him and his Bible and all that, it's changed him a little bit. And you can clearly tell because, of course, his temperament was never like that. We've never seen him like that ever prior to the situation when he lost, his legs. And of course, the anger coming out, Tobias going into, you remember his hospital room, talking to him about Black Lightning. He ruined my life. He did this, just putting all these seeds of hate in him about Black Lightning, whatever. And, this being the situation, she was like, you know what? All she had to say to him was just like, okay. She's like, don't ever talk to me again. He's like, because Tobias will be the least of his problems. She will light his you-know-what up. And he knows it. And now he knows you just can't. You can have arguments with him and all that. But just the way he came out, because at first, I really thought brother was going to try to, his hand went up like he was about to hit her. I was like, oh, buddy. Okay, you're on the run. She can turn back around if she wants to and go home and find a way to slowly work things through with her parents, whatever. But you will be on the run and you will be by yourself, out in the open, whatever. No, don't ruin a good thing. She's putting herself out there just as much as you are, and then some. And matter of fact, the fact that she has powers does not help the situation any less. So having to, stay low key, not get into any actual issue, whatever, and all that, so she can expose herself. So of course, he eventually gets some sort of burner phone at the gas station so she can make her call, whichever. From there, you see a scene where it shows Black Lightning, and of course Thunder shows up to inquire about, knowing, because of course Gamby shows a particular scene of, look like some footage of outside Club 100, like, what's that? And he's like, not what's that, who is that? And of course that's when she realizes, Anissa, that it's her sister Jennifer, and she of course tells, reach out to dad, whatever, let him know, I'll meet him there. That's when they show up at the club, and they basically, start asking questions. Of course, one of them like, ain't no snitch, whatever, and the other one's like, wrong answer. She throws him across, the front of the bar, and then the other one, the main one who was giving smack towards Khalil when he came in to get that money, he just gives it all away. They're like, no, you can't believe you tell. And he's like, so what? I don't care. Smiling like I think he has the hots for Thunder. That's what I'm thinking. Because I know damn well that smile was not for Black Lightning. That was a funny scene though. But yes, so they basically have a little bit of information about the vehicle, whatever. Of course, you see a scene of Black Lightning, up at the top of a building looking down. He thinks that's the car, whatever, but he forgot the guy told him what color it was, and it's not the one. So he jumps down, he sees a little bit of a visual, what looks like to be some boy with some locks and a girl, but not realizing that it's not them. He basically rips off the top of the hood of the guy's vehicle. It looks like he has some sort of Thunderbird, and he's just like, Black Lightning, he's like, get out of here. I'm gonna tell you like this, now that been my baby. I'm like, I said, before I leave, are you gonna pay for this to be fixed? I was just like, really? Ain't nobody in their right mind. I'm sorry, brother. And you just, well, it's Black Lightning. They'd be afraid to get into altercation. Let me shut my mouth about that. But moving on. So from there, of course, you see a scene of, of course, again, where it's Khalil and Jennifer, and she's of course, working towards getting rid of his, his lock, whatever, and all that. And she's like, we gotta get rid of this, whatever. We gotta be a little bit more incognito with your look, whatever. And he's like, you didn't like them. She's like, you look like Whoopi Goldberg. And you can see he was just so hurt by that comment. I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. But whatever, Whoopi Goldberg was awesome, so he shouldn't be offended. But yes, and they just have a little conversation about how he feels, how everything was lost, how he had planned this stuff, the Olympics and all this stuff, and the things he wanted to do when he would go away and she would come with him, they could be together. And then she's, of course, well, you get what your wish, we're on the run now. He's like, you know what, I don't care if we're on the run, as long as we're together. And I love that he said that, whichever, and all that. It just kind of put a little bit of a smile on her face. And eventually she's about to start cutting off his stuff with the, clippers, she sees a little bruise on the back of his neck, and she's like, what is that? This could be something really bad. It might be some sort of form of cancer. And initially, that's what you would think. But all of us viewers know better. We know full well who did that. And I said this. I said when he was being followed, and those guys were following him, and the signal got lost courtesy of Jennifer trying to, black out the lights, any type of connection for him to get away, whatever. He was tracking him. I wish that Khalil, not to say he's not smart, I wish he caught on that when he made the comment when he called her the first time for her to come out there and find him so she could help him. As she put it, I got you. He's tracking you. When he put that stuff in your back of your spine, he made sure he had his insurance policy. You do anything, whatever and all that, or if things don't work out between you two, whatever and all that, and you like this ain't working, or you try to act like you want to, rebel from him, case in point, Book of Rebellion, then he would have ways to find you, whatever, intimidate you, whatever he needs to do. And that's surely exactly what we all know that was to be. That's a tracker, Hasn't caught on yet. So, but moving from there, you see a scene, of course, where Tobias gets a person that shows up at his doorstep. Before that, excuse me, let me go back with Tobias, whatever, because it was one scene that I thought was really interesting. He's talking, of course, and he's talking, just thinking he's talking out loud with it all. Some people like to talk, in a second or third person, discussion, whatever and all that. Some people say they don't, yeah, we wouldn't know, we're not around you, but whatever. He is talking, of course, to his sister, and of course you see this beautiful shrine, this picture that he has up on his wall, since he's lost his sister from season 1. And it's really interesting to me because I keep thinking, I really need to know more, about Tobias. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about this, like I said, at the end of this review, because I really want to dig into that in case you guys comment about this. But he's, of course, talking to her. So when you see that part, after that, moving a little bit forward, you see a scene of Tobias where there's a woman that shows up. And I'm going to tell you, if you didn't look closely at the phone, I'm going to put the picture up somewhere and all that. I should have magnified it a little bit better, but I'm going to try to. Where you see him looking at the phone like he's waiting for the person to show, but it's a picture of him and this woman. And she's only known as the Cutter. And I thought that was very interesting because in the picture from the phone, when I kept staring at it, it looks like they're both might have been a picture where they're both together and they're both smiling. Tobias is actually really smiling and a very, content smile, not where it's all about business. He's actually, having, at play with the female he's enjoying, and it's her in the picture with him. So I thought, okay, they had a past. Interesting. So she comes in, whichever, and I can say this, I love how she doesn't take his mess. That was very refreshing because most people can't seem to do that with him. He always has something to say. He always has a sarcastic comment or something thinly veiled shade that he throws out or whatever, and always has a certain particular statement or saying he has to throw. But she wasn't here for it. She's like, okay, calling him all types of names, which was so funny. And all he did was take it because in the end he needed her. Secondly, I'm curious as to how many people he has up under at his beck and call to do his dirt work. Because as he put it, she's like, why are you calling me? You could deal with this. But see, now he's back in, Freeland now. He's a good part of the society. He can't be seen, whooping tail out in the open, courtesy of what he did behind closed doors to Khalil. So he wants somebody else to do his dirty work, whichever, of course. So it would have to be her. So she, of course, asked for the information. He had the signal from his, looked like to be some sort of, tablet where it shows exactly his location, whichever, and she eventually leaves. So I'm looking, was looking forward to seeing, what's going to happen, throughout this particular episode, whichever. Now from there, you do see a scene where, and this is one that I had discussed before, I'm really getting concerned with Lynn. We've been noticing in the last, episode here and there at the beginning, even last season where it was, of course, one glass of wine, just be drinking, whatever and all. But lately, since she's come on board with ASA to deal with these pods and the kids, it's like the amount of stress has been kind of getting to her. Definitely working with Dr. Jace, and then the situation of recently the kids, 14 of them out of the half have been killed courtesy of, Miss Dr. Jace basically, lying and not being upfront with Lynn. And of course, her daughter, coming home, making the comment about, oh, is that apple juice, whatever, and all that, and then taking her drink when her daughter makes the wrongest statement to her, whatever, takes a drink upstairs, throws up in the bathroom, and she's kind of trying to, be there for her mother and all that, and she just looks like she's just going through it, then having to go in front of all those people to explain to them the situation with their family members now, passing, not going into real detail, and then this situation with Jennifer's somewhere, she doesn't know where she's at. Yeah, she's with Khalil, that doesn't feel comforting to her, of course, to Jefferson, and then of course Anessa. So she basically is drinking in the kitchen, goes up to her room, and basically has a little bit of a meltdown when she starts going through things. At first I thought she was looking for some type of key thing where she thought they would be together, but she's just basically needing to let this anger out. It's the frustration, probably all types of things, not just even Jennifer, just everything as of lately with her that's been going on with work, and then also with home, with her family. And of course Jefferson shows up and he, gives her a big hug and all that. She's just, crying on his shoulder, whatever, and all. Eventually he gets her down, lays her down in the bed so she can get some rest, so she can sleep it off, and then of course it shows, of course, Anissa, looking at the room. It looks in shambles or whatever, thinking, did Jennifer do this? And he's like, no, your mom, whatever. And they're kind of standing out there kind of frustrated of, how to deal with this stuff. Like they still can't seem to locate Jennifer, whichever. And that's when he makes the comment, because I'm sorry, you guys, I did make to note that before that, in the Club 100, Jennifer does call, and she speaks briefly to Nissa, and they try to trace the call, and of course she knew not to keep it too long. She's like, hey Harriet, whatever, she would always call her that, whatever. And she's like, is he controlling you? Is he making you say this? And she's like, no, you all know full well Khalil cannot control that girl. No one can truly control. You all can't even control her. Do you really think that he can control her and make her, force her to say that stuff? She is grown with the mouth or whatever, but now with the powers, that wasn't going to. So that's what I thought was rather comical, her even asking her that, whatever. She went of her own free will, and I hope she lets it be known when she finally gets reunited with her family down, in within the next couple of episodes coming up, whichever. So eventually, from there, prior to that, when they were like, she's talking about a boy, whatever, when Perina had told them that she's with a boy, even though Perina knew the name, she didn't give away that, what she kept to herself, which was out of respect probably for Jennifer, because she probably knew that would really set her father off, whatever. That's why she gave him that luck. But from there, that's when Anissa was like, oh yeah, that's Khalil. And he's like, what? Why do you say anything? That moment where they're staying outside of Jennifer's room in shambles, courtesy of her mom, and he says, you should have said something, that was Khalil. About the call that you saw from the phone. She's like, you're blaming this on me. And he's like, no, I'm just saying, if you had to call, you should have said something, whatever. Maybe we could have prevented some of this or whatever. And of course, in some ways he is. Even though he's trying to be as cordial about it as he can, you basically are saying that to her. So of course, Anissa decides to be very honest. She's like, no, this is the situation. She's cooped up in here. She can't do anything. She can't go anywhere with her. You're basically, watching her phone, everything she does, tracking her with that, whatever and all that. It was too much. And as she put it, too damn much. Didn't care for her cousin or her daddy, but it is what it is. She's frustrated. She's like, you caused her to run away, just like you did me. But what I thought was rather funny when she said that, you're saying that, but yet still here you go walking down the hall into your own bedroom. I thought you want to be grown. That's the thing. I really wished, if she wants to be grown, wants to do this and all that, but still have that respect line where, okay, I'm grown, I'm out, I'm doing my own thing, but I still, want to have a relationship with my father. We can get the work done, doing stuff in Freeland. Then do that. Why would you move back in the house? I thought she was staying at the old house. Why are you still there? I don't know where this came up. I didn't know she was still there. I don't know if she's just staying there right now because they're trying to find Jennifer. That could be the case. But I'm like, you make a big speech and all that. And you make your little comments or whatever and all that. He pushed you away. Didn't seem like he pushed you too far because you right down the hall. And that's how I personally feel. I'm like, okay, Nissa, can't have both ways, sweetie. Once your sister's back, get your own place. Go to your own place, or when you hang out with Grace, whatever, your boo, then do that, whichever. So, but moving from that, of course, you see the scene where the next following day, of course, Lynn's feeling better, and she gets a knock at the door, and it's Khalil's mother. She feels so guilty. She sees the news what's happening because Tobias decides to show up at her home unannounced. And I'm thinking he was going to do something to her, but he does not. He basically has a talk with her, whatever, asking her if she knew anything. She's like, I thought my son would be with you because she hasn't seen her son. And we know that is true. He tries to keep her totally out of this so Tobias won't bother her. But we already know, because Tobias made it abundantly clear, he has one rule, the mama rule. He doesn't do that. You see how he did Buddy Boy from season 1 when he did his own, talking about what he did to his own mother and what he did to LaWanda. When he killed her and all, he's like, why would you take the mama? What does that have to do with anything, whatever? Just cold-blooded. Neither one of them are any good, but that was one rule he did, and I give him that. So they're having a talk, whatever and all, and she was like, if I knew anything, whatever and all that, she's like, you'd have to kill me. And he was like, okay, I respect that. You a strong black woman. He's like, but how did you raise a dumb what son? Whatever. I'm put like this. He's not that dumb, because I'm gonna tell you like this. Even though he's made a couple bad decisions and all that, and there are a little bit of guys, he's a young boy, he's a high schooler, whatever. He does know quite a bit now. That's why he's looking for him. So Can't be that dumb. Let's just hope when all this stuff fades down, and again, I'm gonna go into that at the end, so let me leave that at the end. So moving on from that, of course, you see the scene where somebody shows up at the aunt's house, and Khalil and them are getting ready to pack up to leave, whatever. Should have been gone, whatever. Stay at some hotel, go somewhere, whatever. Fine, but she shows up, whatever. Let me tell you, she shows up on her door looking away, telling me she's officer such and such. I'm gonna tell you like this: no officer comes in looking like that. You're in a uniform. She's dressed in regular clothes, some little vest, arms out, flexed, whatever, and some like what looks like to be some type of leather pants, whatever, and all that, similar to what she wore when she went to see Tobias to get the information she needed to find and locate him. And by then, the aunt doesn't have, it's like, this is not Halloween, this is not no costume, you ain't no cop. And she was like, okay. And she got this knife in. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to post up here that fight sequence. I enjoyed the first fight sequence at the beginning with Club 100, which really was done very well, Cleo. But I really enjoyed this one because he got to, show his stuff. But she showed her stuff. For somebody who we knew nothing about, who were being introduced to, she was, that knife wielding, I was like, okay. I was like, first and foremost, where are you hiding all of them? I'm looking at her like, oh my God. But I'm like in a trance because I'm like, okay. She's, kicks, the flips, the cuts. Eventually, she's able to get Khalil onto what looks to be the kitchen table. She eventually, cuts him on the side. Of course, by that time, Jennifer had already moved the aunt out of the way because I think she got kind of hit from something, whatever, and all that. And then she runs in there trying to help, Khalil, whatever. And eventually, she gets knocked up against the wall with a whole bunch of knives as if she was a part of a circus act. And it was just like, wow. I was really floored by that scene because I said when he brought her in and Tobias said, this is who I need you to locate, whatever, here's the location, whatever, and all that. I was wondering what exactly her scene would involve, and I feel like she did an awesome job in that scene. Just seeing that scene of her doing her thing and just hoping that moving forward, if there's other scenes, whatever, and all that after this, or even extra episodes, she'll be some new figure that we'll see for a couple of episodes, whichever, that would be nice, whichever. But I really did enjoy watching that. That was nice. And of course, him using the toaster oven and everything, just hilarious. The whole thing was hilarious. So, but yes, eventually, our buddies show up in the nick of time, Thunder and Lightning, because she was about to stab Khalil, whatever. That's the time they use as a way to exit now out of there, whichever. Not realizing, your dad and your sister are there, went over, but then it's like they didn't come alone. Gamby's going to probably be somewhere around, so when they're trying to leave out of there, of course Gamby, is, in his van, but he's using something, that could fly in the air to, to kind of track them. By that time, you can tell Jennifer was done with it. She's just like, leave us alone. She just uses her powers to just, malfunction it, whatever. By that time, Thunder had knocked a girlfriend, cut her right out of the house onto the ground, and she runs away, whatever. By then, they're in the woods somewhere trying to get a bit of a head start to get out of there. And that's when they come out and they're like, Gammy's like, she, saw me, whatever. She saw you because your thing was so damn low. Why is his things keep getting, knocked out of the sky? Why is it lately some of his gadgets keep, just, I don't know, but whichever. But yeah, they're like, okay, they couldn't have got far. So of course they all three decided to separate and try to locate where they could have went. By that time, Jennifer's trying to put two and together, like, what is going on? How did these people how did they find us, whatever? First and secondly, we didn't have any phones, and that's when she definitely realizes and has to explain to him, whatever's in your back of your neck is a tracker, and that's when she realizes she has to get rid of it. At first, she has some scissors, but he's like, he does not want her to cut him open like that, so he's like, do what you do, with your hand, and so do something where you can, malfunction or whatever and all that, so it can, lose its signal, whatever. And at first, she's kind of scared and all that, but of course he kind of lets her know, I can trust you. You can do this. And of course she remembers what Perena said to her. She says, you are the storm. You can control the storm. And I love how she just deep breaths. She thought she just concentrated and she was getting ready to do it, but then he turns around getting hesitant, and he just had to let her know, it's like, just remember, if I'm on a run, as long as you're with me, I'm gonna be okay. By then, she locked heads with him. She did it, and then he's just like, oh gosh, I didn't feel anything. She gives him a little kiss and all that. And she's like, okay, this time at least it wasn't any lightning. And he's like, if it wasn't. And I thought that was so cute. They are so cute. I think they're adorable. So, and I just like that because she was, very smitten at the moment with that. And of course, you see a scene where it shows, of course, looks like Lightning's looking for him, Black Lightning's looking for them, whichever. Of course, they decide to hide, and then from there, you see he's, of course, yells out her name, and then he leaves. They're hiding up under some trees. They found some sort of ditch, whatever. They were able to cover it really well, and then of course they get this stuff. You can tell that Khalil is really hurt from that cut. I keep thinking, is there something laced with that knife that she's using to, you know, cause some sort of, not to say paralysis, but something to kind of slow him down, whatever, if he's hurt just enough. Not sure about that. So from there, they, of course, move on, whatever. They got their bags and they're trying to head somewhere, whatever. I'm assuming get to their vehicle, whatever. From there, it shows a Cutter calling Tobias, and she's like, your little Casper, blah, blah. It's like, you didn't tell me, you know, I have to deal with some medicine. He's like, what you talking about? She's like, I didn't stutter. It's like, you know, I had, you know, some guests that showed up, which was Black Lightning and Thunder. He's like, Black Lightning and Thunder, what they want with Khalil? And that's when it happened. When he starts to slowly put two and two together. We didn't see the full aha moment, but he's getting there, and I feel like it's coming, because the thing out of his mouth was, you know, it ain't Khalil, the Pierce girl. First it was Club 100, and then the Seahorse Motel. That little smirk he gives where he looks off to the side. Yep, it's coming. He's about to figure it out, you guys. He's about to figure it out. Oh, now if it's, see, and this is what I'm saying, okay, because I'm finished with that, whatever. No, it was a great episode. So let me get into how I feel about this overall episode and things I feel. If it had just been Thunder, then he wouldn't have thought nothing of it. But since it keeps being Black Lightning, he happens to show up with any of the Pierce daughters, eventually he's going to realize, and that's going to be, it's going to be a problem. I'm just like, stay away. They don't even realize that. That's why I'm glad he has a tracker out, because now he can't find them like he wants to right away now. That he's not going to be able to locate them, so that'll help him. But he's going to, during this time of him sulking and being pissed about Khalil getting away, all this is going to be going through his mind, you know, dealing with the situation that happened with the Cutter trying to dispose of, of Khalil, whatever, in the midst of this whole situation, dealing with, of course, Black Lightning again. Then, like I said, with Lynn, I feel like with Lynn, they are going to eventually have to say something to her about her drinking. Now, see, granted, Jefferson didn't walk in when she was drinking. Now, of course, you know, Jennifer saw that, and she saw her mother look whatever she was going through. Nessa is not fully aware of what's going on with her mother with the drinking as well. Eventually, it might come if they catch her drinking, she keeps drinking. This might be one of these things within the rest of this season, moving forward, that they might catch her constantly having a drink, whatever, that they might end up making her have a certain arc dealing with that situation as well, not realizing she is somebody who likes to drink. Because let's just say this, even though she at the beginning of season 1 they were separated, but of course they, you know, co-parent their 2 kids, whatever, who's to say that she was already a drinker where she likes a nice little glass here and there, but now these drinks are getting a little bit extra where she's drinking that brown liquor, and it seems like it's going to be going there. So hopefully that will be a nice little added layer on Lynn's character storyline. I would like that. I don't mind that. I just hope it doesn't last so long if it goes into season 2, but goes into a little bit of season 3, where she might be going to see someone about that to work on that, so she can start, you know, working past always feeling the need when she's going through certain high stress level situations. She doesn't have to go and get a drink. So, but with that, also I enjoyed the quick discussion that Gambi and Anissa had, where Anissa just kind of like just was irked with her frustration of, you know, Gambi, you know, not feeling the need for her not to know, even though it was mostly her father. Her father should have told her, just like he told Henderson and didn't let Anissa know. That's the second time he's done that. We didn't think to let Anissa know that, first Henderson knows that, you are Thunder, you have powers. Oh, and then Gambi's back now, whatever and all that. I just kept it on the low, whatever. I'm like, they work together. You all work together to do what you do and freely and all that, and work together, and then you're also family and all that. I can understand that Lynn not knowing right away, fine, but it's like Anissa and you work with Gambi very closely, more so than all of you all collectively. So her just speaking her mind, and then also just letting her know that she knew he was out there in the woods when she was dealing with the Sanjay and Purdy, and she appreciated that. And he knew, because he knew full well who else was dealing with that particular, contraption that was in the air. I'm losing my train of thought what it's called, but yes, just knowing that he was there for them, whatever, even though he wasn't physically there and all, but knowing that he still got their back and he's watching over them to make sure they're okay, whatever and all that. But again, we need to get back to Gambi and who's trying to comfort him, and I'm still wanting to know who's doing that. I feel like Tobias is too worried about Reverend and then Khalil, that I don't know if he is a part of this, but it makes me wonder if they're just trying to take us off of the breadcrumbs with that. Tobias could have a part of that, but it could be somebody else from ASA. I don't know. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. And I'm hoping we get a reveal before the end of the season. I'm hoping they don't make us wait any longer to that. So, but also, of course, again, situation with Anissa and Jefferson, just her, finally, kind of making it known to him. And I feel like now she got it out and she said how she feels like, the way you drove Jennifer away, you drove me away and all that. And he knows this, and he kind of really needs to assess how he wants to deal with his family, deal with Lynn, of course, deal with, Anissa and Jennifer moving forward after all this comes to a head. The communication, not doing things and all that. I know him as being a father first and foremost, regardless if they don't like it and all, because sometimes the parents might do something the kids don't like, whatever and all that, but and it's to protect them, and that's what they were trying to do, whichever. But she's starting to hone her skills with Perenna, and I was hoping that he would take the time to realize that, and and talk to her. You're not talking to her, you're just leaving her up there. We're going to homeschool you. Then you all go out and do what you want to do. Lynn goes back to work, and she's up there all alone all day long in the house. Can't keep doing that. So this whole situation with them trying to find her and search for her and all that, they need to let that sink in a little bit. Need to be a little bit better with that. And I give it to Anissa for the fact that she saw the thing with Khalil. She didn't blurt out to her dad when she does tell other secrets that Jennifer would rather not say. But she knew that, she needed someone. Khalil's always been there, even though what Khalil's done, if you all recall, we talk about it, plenty of people talk about in the comment section about him, killing, her father and all that, aka killing Black Lightning. He still, to this day, doesn't even know her father is actually Black Lightning. I wonder when that's going to come out. She hit that real well in episode 7, but eventually, she's going to have to say something about that. I know he's going to feel like, okay, you had to keep that from me, whatever and all that. But, we'll see how that's going to pan out. She's not going to have to tell Khalil. Tobias is going to find out. It's going to come out. He's going to figure that out very, very soon. I feel it now. And speaking of Khalil and Jennifer, I'm enjoying that she is starting to feel comfortable in her skin with her powers. I'm loving that he cares for her and loves her no matter what. He doesn't care about the powers and all that. He thinks she's beautiful inside out, whichever and all that. He trusts her with her powers if she's to help him, whichever, and it's making her feel a little bit more comfortable with that, which is good. I love how she was able to save him in that situation at the Club 100. She was able to control it and, the ball and send it whichever and all that. And she doesn't want to keep constantly doing that, but knowing that if she's in that moment where it's a matter of life and death, she's able to do something where she didn't feel like she killed anybody. She just tried to, cause a distraction, which helped Khalil get out of the situation he was in, because he wasn't going nowhere at the rate they were shooting up at the car that he was hiding behind. So, but yes, also, the both of them communicating, like when he lashed out in the car talking about, don't no, I said no, don't call you ain't calling your parents, whatever, and then he realized what he did was wrong and admitted that, whatever, and she understood whatever and all that and forgave him, whichever. It's like you gotta have a clear mind. We understand it, she's on the run with you, she's here, but I gotta let my parents know, whichever. And I'm glad that he realized the error of his ways of assuming that that's how it was really going to go down. You don't think they're going to try to send out the cops or put some missing report out for her, whatever, APB or something, if they locate her? I'm like, come on now. They're not going to be able to do that. So yeah, they're going to find ways to locate their daughter. So yeah, so moving forward, yeah, I'm just looking to see what's going to happen. I think we have next episode 9, where it's supposed to be a mid-season finale. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to showcase prior to this, because I'm assuming there'll be a break until after they come back after the holidays. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be in store for the remainder of the season. I'm loving the season so far. I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's a little different. I love the chapters, all the books of, the different chapters of it, were like it's a certain little, certain book and certain chapters of this particular arc for each individual parts. And I'm really loving the way they did this. It just it's really good. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving what they're doing. This particular season, whatever, it separates it a little bit from season 1 and still keeps it where it's kind of true to what they're trying to do for the Pierce family, and then all the other different characters, and just what's going on in the life of the Pierce family in in Freeland. So yes, you guys. So comment below. Let me know what you all think of the episode. Tell me which parts you all enjoyed. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next review. You guys take care.